Hi everybody, and welcome to exercise B. This is 5B on page 17 of the workbook that we're looking at. And this is an example of calculating a limit algebraically. We'd like to calculate the limit as x goes to 0 of x plus 2 squared minus 4 over 3x. Okay, so if we try to use the standard method here, the theorem that we talked about, we might say, we're going to try to just plug in x equals 0 directly and see what the limit is. Let's just see what happens if we do that. Okay, so if we substitute in 0 for all of our x's, on the top we're going to get 2 squared minus 4, that's 4 minus 4. And on the bottom we're going to get 0. And notice that the same thing happens as what happened in a previous example that we did. We got 0 over 0. That's not helpful. We can't calculate a number from that. And so that's that so-called indeterminate form we talked about before. We need to find a different way to simplify our expression to see if we can do this limit. Okay, so what we can do instead, let's back up here. Okay, consider that kind of a false start, what we did there. And ask, is there any algebraic simplification that we could do? Well, one thing we might do is to take this x plus 2 squared and actually multiply it out. I'm going to write that as x plus 2 times itself. Okay, and that gives us an opportunity to FOIL the numerator. So if we take x plus 2 and multiply it by itself, we're going to get x squared plus the 2 outside terms. That's 2x plus the 2 inside terms, 2x again, plus 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, which brings us to a fraction that looks like this. And then, is there anything we can do to simplify that further? Well, notice that there's a 4 and a minus 4. Those cancel. And then the 2x and the 2x, we can add those together because they're like terms. So let's see, we're going to get x squared plus 4x in the top over 3x. And do you notice anything else that we could do here algebraically? Okay, if you look at the numerator, there's a factor of x that we could pull out. Okay, so I'm going to factor an x out of the top and write that as x times x plus 4. And kind of the reason for doing that is that now we've got an x in the top and the bottom which we can cancel. And that's kind of good news. Getting rid of that x in the denominator gets rid of the piece that was going to 0 on us. So we've reduced this down to the limit as x goes to 0 of x plus 4 over 3. Notice that now we're free to substitute in x equals 0 to figure out what this limit is. So if we do that, we're going to get 0 plus 4 over 3. And our limit turns out to be 4/3.